Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Ragita Shabrina. I am from Medical Studies in Sultan Ageng University Semarang, and I'm from Group EMAP 7. And I will present about CONSORT 2010 checklist of information to include when reporting the randomized trial. In the first session, I want to identify the abstract on this article first. So let's next to the item is title. In this article, there is no identification of the study as randomized. And as we know, the title on this article is Intramuscular AZD7442 for prevention of COVID-19. And next, we move on to the authors. Author's definition is contact details for the corresponding author. And there is the author's checklist. So this is, as we know on the highlight, the yellow one, this is the author's full names. Academic degrees and affiliations are listed in the appendix. So the author names is Dr. Assers, and we can be contacted at the email on Dr. Assers. And next, and there is no trial design. And we move on to the methods. In the methods, it is include participant, intervention, objective, outcome, randomization, and blinding. For the participant means is eligibility criteria for participants and the settings where the data were collected. On the article, there is participant checklist. And as we can see on the highlight, the one, it is in an ongoing phase 3 trial. We enrolled adults more than 18 years of age who had an increased risk of an inadequate response to vaccination against coronavirus disease. And let's move to the next item. This is for the intervention. There is no intervention. And for the objective, also there is no objective. And for the outcome definition is clearly defined primary outcome for this report. And as we can see the highlight on the green highlight, the primary efficacy endpoint was symptomatic COVID-19 occurring after administration of AZD7442 or placebo and on or before day 183. And then next is method on randomization, and we know the definition is how participants were allocated to intervention. And in this highlight is participants were randomly assigned in a 2:1 ratio to receive a single dose until in the primary analysis. Let's move. For the blinding, there is no blinding, and next to the results contain the numbers randomized. So in this number randomized, the definition is number of participants randomized to each group, and you can see for the highlight is a total of 1,197 participants underwent randomization and received one dose of AZD7442 or placebo. And next, for the requirement, there is no requirement. And for the number analyzed, is definition is number of participants analyzed in each group. So for the number analyzed is the primary analysis was conducted after 30% of the participants had become aware of the randomized assignment. In total, 1,221 of 3,461 participants in the AZD7442 group and 593 of 1,736 participants in the placebo group. And next, for the outcome. On the outcome in the results, as we know, in the highlight of the blue ones is 5 cases of severe or critical COVID-19 and 2 COVID-19 related deaths occur, and all in the placebo group. Next to the next item is the conclusion. And before that, the harms in this article, there is no harms checklist, and we move on to the conclusion. As we know, conclusion is general interpretation of the result. So in this article, as we can see on the highlight, it is a single dose of AZP7442 had efficacy for the prevention of COVID-19 without evident safety concerns. And for the next item is trial registration. There is no trial registration. And we next to the funding. Funding in the definition is source of funding. And we know as we can see in the highlight is funded by AstraZeneca and the US government. So this is that's all for the identify of the abstract. And now we want to identify the focus. Okay, for introduction for 2A. This is 2A. 2A definition is scientific background and explanation of rationale. As we know, 2A starts from vaccination against severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 until AZP7442 was also detected in the nasal mucosa. And also in 2A, there is any citation from another articles that includes in this article. And move to the 2B. 2B is scientific objective or hypothesis. In 2B, in this article, this is, as you can see on the highlight blue one, is here we report results from the ongoing phase 3 PREVENT trial, which evaluates AZP7442 for the prevention of symptomatic and severe COVID-19 in adults. And this specifics for hypothesis. And next, we move to the 3A. The definition is description of trial design such as parallel, factorial, including allocation ratio. In 3A, this is the looks in green highlight one, the trial designs and oversight. In this ongoing multi-centers, double-blind parallel group randomized placebo-controlled trial, we assess the safety and efficacy of a single dose of AZP7442. And next, we move for the 4A is eligibility criteria for participants. In 4A, there is 2 criteria. For the first is inclusions, and for the second is exclusion. For the inclusion one, this is eligible participants were adults who had an increased risk of an inadequate response to COVID-19 vaccination or exposure to SARS-CoV-2 owing to location or circumstance. And for the second one is exclusion. It is participants were excluded if they had a history of SARS-CoV infection, a positive SARS-CoV result as screening, previous receipt of a vaccine or biologic agent indicated for the prevention of SARS-CoV infection or COVID-19, or an allergy to any component of AZP7442 or the placebo. And next we move to the 4B. It is settings and location where the data were located. 4B on this article is the trial is being conducted at 87 sites in Belgium, France, Spain, the United Kingdom, and the United States. And next we move to the number 5. There is no item on these articles for number 5. So we move to the 6A. This is completely defined for specific primary and secondary outcome measures, including how and when they were assessed. And this is for the outcomes. For the primary outcomes, the safety, it is at the data cut-off date for the primary analysis until the incidence of serious adverse event was similar in the two groups. This is for the primary outcomes, and this is for the secondary outcomes. This is for the efficacy, and start from at the data cut-off data for the primary analysis until the between group difference in the K-supportive analysis and the K-secondary endpoint were statistically significant within the testing strategy. And next, we move to the 6B. There is no item on the articles, so we move to the 7A. This is how sample size determined. Yeah. And in 7A, these articles, as you can see on the highlight in purple one, this is serum level of AZP7442 remain elevated for 6 months after administration until reduction neutralization tests that use wild-type virus. Let's move to the 7B. When applicable, explanation of any interim analysis and stopping guidelines. There is no item for the 7B in this article. So we move to the randomization. For the first is sequence, that is 8A. The definition is method used to generate the random allocation sequence. 8A, as you can see in the green highlight, it is participants randomly assigned in a 2:1 ratio to receive a single 300 mg dose of AZP7442 until the participants were monitored. And next, for the 8B, there is no items in this article. And also for number 9, and move to the number 10. The definition is who generate the random allocation sequence, who enroll participants, and who assign participants to interventions. As we know, and as we can see on the purple highlight, it is all the participants provide written informed consent until details regarding the committee are provided in the supplementary appendix available at negm.org. Next, for number 11A, there is no item, there is no checklist in these articles, and also 11B, and we move to 12A. In this blue light highlight, this is for the primary efficacy endpoint analyzed. We calculate that a trial population of approximately 5,150 participants who were randomly assigned in a 2:1 ratio until a Gaussian regression with robust variance was used as the primary efficacy analysis model to estimate the relative risk of the incidence of symptomatic infection in the AZP7442 group as compared with the placebo group. Next, for 12B. In 12B, the definition is methods for additional analysis, such as subgroup analysis and adjusted analysis. This is for the 12B. See on the purple highlight, the safety analysis set consists of all the participants who had undergone randomization and received at least one injection of AZP7442 or placebo until and didn't have RT-PCR confirmed SARS-CoV-2 infection at baseline. Next, for 13A, the definition for 13A is for each group, the numbers of participants who were randomly assigned received intended treatment and were analyzed for the primary outcome. Okay, for 13A, this is for the examples in 13A. So this is the numbers of participants who were randomly assigned, received intended treatment, and were analyzed for the primary outcome. This is the percentage of participants with symptomatic COVID-19, and this is the days since injection. And next, for 13B, it is for each group, losses and exclusions after randomization together with reasons. So this is, as we can see for the highlight and yellow one, all the participants underwent SARS-CoV-2 RT-PCR testing at baseline. 25 of 5,197 participants test positive after receiving AZP7442 or placebo and were excluded from the primary efficacy analysis. Next, for the next item, it is 14A. It is dates defining the periods of recruitment and follow-up. So this is the date defining the periods of recruitment and follow-up. So as we know in the results, between November 21, 2020 and March 22 in 2021, a total of 5,973 participants underwent screening in the full analysis set until the primary analysis was conducted after 13% of the participants had elected to become aware of the randomized assignment. So this is the dates defining and the periods. And next, it is for the 14B. There is no items in this article, so we move to the 15th. The definition is a table showing baseline demographic and clinical characteristic for each group. 15A, that table showing baseline demographic and clinical characteristic for each group. So this is the table that shows baseline demographic and clinical characteristic of the participants in the full analysis set. And next, for the 16th, the definitions is for each group, number of participants, denominator included in each analysis, and whether the analysis was by original assigned groups. So this is for the 16th. This is the table that shows at first events in the safety analysis set. So this is shown by the table, by the analysis assigned group. And next, move to the next item. This is for 17A. Means for each primary and secondary outcome, result for each group, and the estimate effect size and its precisions, such as 95% confidence interval. So this is for the 17A. This is the primary endpoint and case supportive efficacy analysis in the full exposure analysis step. So this is for each primary, results for each groups, and for the primary analysis. And next, for the 17B, there is no checklist in these articles. So we move to the next item. It is 18. 18 means results of any other analysis performed, including subgroup analysis and adjusted analysis, distinguishing pre-specific from exploratory. So this is the results of any other analysis performed, including subgroup analysis. So this table shows subgroup according to the baseline characteristics, subgroup according to the existing conditions, and only two subgroup. And next, we move to the next item. This is for 19. There is no checklist in this article, so we move to the 20. This is trial limitations addressing search of potential bias, imprecision, and if relevant, multiplicity of analysis. So this is for the 20. The limitations, as we can see from the highlight in green one, it shows that the limitation of our trial include the low number of events in smaller but important subgroups, including immunocompromised persons, so the efficacy in these groups could not be estimated. So we move for the next trials. For 21, there is no checklist in this article, so we move in 22. It is interpretation consistent with results, balancing benefits and harms, and considering other relevant evidence. So this is for number 22. It is the interpretation. Interpretation shows that in pink, in highlight on pink color. This shows although COVID-19 vaccination has since been shown to be effective in such population, some immunocompromised persons still have a poor response to vaccination. So this shows like the benefits and also the harms of vaccinations results. And next for the next item, for 23, there is no checklist in this article, so we move to the 24. It is where the full trial protocol can be accessed if available. So as we know, for the 24, this is where the full trial protocol can be accessed if available. It shows from the highlight, shows in green color. This shows disclosure forms provided by the authors are available with the full text of these articles at negm.org. A data sharing statement provided by the authors is available with the full text on this article at negm.org. So it can be accessed if there is available. But the author is available and we can find these articles at this website. And next for the next item, let's move to the next item. For 25, this is search of funding and other support, such as supply of drugs, role of funders. In 25, that is shows search of funding and other support, such as supply of drugs, role of funders. This is shown by it is shows like funded by AstraZeneca and the US government. So this is the identify for the full text using CONSORT checklist. And now we move to the PICO questions. So this is the PICO questions. As we know, PICO or refers, it is means per patient or population. So the definition of P is who are the relevant patients and things about the age, sex, geographic location, or specific characteristic that would be important to your questions. And for E, E is interventions or indicator. The definition is what is the management strategy, diagnostic test, or exposure that you are interested in. And for the C is compare or control. This means is there a control or alternative management strategy you would like to compare to the intervention or indicator. And for the O, it is outcome. It is what are the patient relevant consequences of the intervention. Okay, based on the questions that it is the question that I took from the methods in these articles. So first, for the P, it is shows an adult will have an increased risk of an inadequate response to COVID-19 vaccination an increased risk of exposure to SARS-CoV-2 or both, it is shown by the patients. And then for the interventions, it is how efficient is AZD7442, this shown by interventions, or saline placebo injection. It is for compare. And then for the outcome, it is shown in controlling vaccination against coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19. So this is the relevant consequence of the intervention or the effect of this between the compare questions. So as we read the question, it is adults who had an increased risk of an inadequate response to COVID-19 vaccination and increased risk of exposure to SARS-CoV-2 or both, how efficient is AZD7442 or saline placebo injections in controlling vaccination against coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19? Okay, that's all for the PICO questions, and that's all for the identification of abstract and also the full text using CONSORT 2010 checklist. That's all from me. If there is any mistake, I'm sorry. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.